Hey folks, this is a Dude in the Kitchen series. Today I'm making beans with ham hocks and I'll be pressure canning them too. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host Jerry Hansen. Today I want to make some ham hocks and beans, but I'm going to pressure cook them first with my Fagor Duo pressure cooker and canner. Yes, it does both. I'll leave a link down below so you guys can go purchase one, and I'll leave a code right here to go ahead and check one out on Amazon and purchase one. I love my pressure cooker and canner, as you see right here, because it does both cook and can. So for the recipe that I'm going to be putting together is simple for ham hocks and beans. I first of all take beans and I soak them overnight with water and a little bit of salt in the pressure cooker. Then in the morning I'll take them out, dump them in a colander and rinse them off, replace them back into the canner or the cooker, the pressure cooker, and then I'll be putting them in with 2 cups of water. So there's about 4 cups of beans that I have. 2 cups of water, a can of diced tomatoes, and a can of chicken bouillon. That's the juices I'll be adding to this. I also chop up an onion and put that in the ingredients as well. To the recipe, I'm also going to cut up some carrots and put those in there. I'm also using a tablespoon of this seasoning right here. So I use a tablespoon of this steak seasoning salt or solution. I love this stuff. This has a combination of salt, black pepper, garlic, spices, onions, sunflower oil, red peppers, and paprika. So this gives me the extra spices that I like in my soup. Yes, that's right, we're making soup. And to that I'm going to add a tablespoon of this crushed red pepper. My family likes spicy, so we're just going to spice it up a little bit. And here is the diced tomatoes that I'm putting in. And to this I'm going to add 4 bay leaves. And then I'm also going to add a tablespoon of minced garlic. You can also use 8 large garlic cloves, diced, minced, and thrown in there. So don't forget the carrots. Yeah, I love the carrots in there. So we're going to go ahead and toss them into the pan. We're going to close the lid. And I'm going to pressure cook this for 55 minutes. To this mix, I also add that ham hock. Yes, we're just going to dump it right in the pot, close the pot lid, and we're going to turn the heat under the pot and let it come up to steam. I have my pot on selection 2. It's going to heat up to 220 degrees Fahrenheit, 240 degrees Fahrenheit to get a good cook. And I'm going to set the timer for 55 minutes, but what I need to do is I need to make sure, start my timing at the appropriate time. For this pressure cooker model, according to the manufacturer's instructions, is you lock the lid in place by pushing this little button forward. When pressure comes up, this little button comes up, pushes up from the pressure, and locks that switch so you cannot open the lid accidentally, because that switch locks it, and then that little button is pressure activated, locks that switch so you can't accidentally open the lid and create a serious burns. I have it on selection 2, selection 1 and selection 2. Selection 2 gets you up to 240 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's why we're putting in the pressure canner. I love cooking my beans with the pressure because it cooks them all the way through and it makes them nice and soft. Now you can decrease your time and get a little bit more crunchier beans, if you will, but I don't like the crunchier beans. Now this is a Fagor dual pressure cooker canner. On the cooking method, I like making sure the beans are fully cooked so that when my mother-in-law eats them, she's able to chew right through them and not have to struggle with eating. So the timer is set for 55 minutes. We're going to let this cook. Once it's cooked, we're going to take it and we're going to process our jars, mason jars, wash them with dishwater, sanitize them in a separate pot that I have, my stock pot that I use for water bath canning. Just sterilize those, and then once they're sterilized, I'll put my funnel on there and I'll ladle the ingredients out into there. Now, once the ingredients are ladled out into there, I will clean out my pressure cooker canner, and now we're going to use it as a canner. I thoroughly clean it out and set it on, and then I put in the rack and fill the bottom of it with about 2 inches of water. That's all you need in this pressure canner, is about 2 inches of water. So once you got your jars in there, you take your jars, you place them carefully down in there, and then you lock the lid in place just like we did when we cooked. We're going to now can. I'm going to put it on level 2 because we want, this is meat, okay? We want to make sure it's a low acid food, that it gets to that 240 degrees Fahrenheit that kills all botulism or any bacteria that causes botulism. Now for canning, we're going to set the timer for 75 minutes, and that is the manufacturer's recommended time set. And for this type of soup, the level 2, position 2 is the manufacturer's recommended setting for this type of soup. Now to begin your timing, you don't start the timing when that little button pops up. You start the timing when the steam starts coming out of your adjuster knob, your selector knob. And once the steam starts coming out there, that's when you set your timer. We're going to set the timer for 75 minutes, and we're going to let them adjust the heat, and we're going to monitor the heat and maintain that temperature so it's not on full burner, but it's just keeping the steam coming out. It's full steam, that's all you need for 75 minutes to get it safely canned. Now once it's finished the timer's up, we're going to go ahead and just turn the heat off. Then we're going to walk away and let this naturally steam out and let all the pressure vent out, and they're going to let it completely settle down. Now once it's settled down, go ahead and unlock it because the pressure is completely relieved and the button dropped down. We'll just go ahead and unlock the lid, bring the lid off, grab your jar lifter and lift these out and set them on a surface that is not in direct contact with your kitchen countertop, because cold on these hot bottoms will cause the jars to break. That smells good, really good. Now I want to point out that water bath canning will only get your temperature of your food up to 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. But these are for high acid foods like jams, jellies, fruits. Those are all high acid foods. Tomato, as though it may be considered a fruit, it's really a low acid food. So you want to pressure can your tomatoes, especially your meats. So you need that pressure to be able to get to 240 degrees Fahrenheit to assure that you're going to get temperature enough and length of time enough to kill that bacteria which causes botulism. Now I'll leave a link right here that you can go online and get some more information from the National Centers for Food Preservations. And also there's USDA recommendations. Please be careful with canning, especially when you're feeding your loved ones with your canning. So, this is still bubbling. These are hot. Yeah. Once I'm done with my canning, I like to remove my rings and then mark the lids for the date and the contents. Now this is ham hocks and beans, so I'll put H for ham hocks and then the date on the lid, and we'll just store it in my pantry. Well, that's my recipe for making ham hocks and beans and setting them aside for meals in the future. This is delicious. I already tasted it right after I cooked it. Oh, I wish I could have caught it on camera, but it was really, really good. My daughter sampled it and she came back for seconds, so I was lucky to get 4 quarts out of this. So anyway, that's it on this episode. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. We're a frugal homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. Please be safe with your canning and check the science behind canning and food preparations. And check out the Duo Fagor pressure cooker canner. It does both. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye now.